Stephen.
Mr Speaker, it's with great pleasure that I take this first opportunity to speak in a debate in the House and speak to the issue very important to this nation, welfare reform. As a former police officer and Northlander, I can assure you that this is something very much at the forefront of this country's future. I just wonder whether the member opposite, if he was so able to turn his attention from the pictures that he saw in the paper that he alluded to, that if he were to flip it over, he'd also note there's a very, very positive opinion piece, editorial headed Reforms Aim to Break Welfare Cycle, which shows some very, very positive affirmation of the steps that the Minister is making. And while pictures often paint an interesting story, if the member took time to read the editorial, he may find out an entirely different picture. Mr Speaker, I'd like to acknowledge the Minister for Social Development for the commitment, dedication and passion that she shows this role, and that no one can argue that she doesn't have for this area. Mr Speaker, welfare reform is a must-do on two levels. Firstly, because it's financially unsustainable, but more importantly because the welfare system has become a welfare trap. The net result of this is that too many people in our nation, often through no fault of their own, are missing out on the opportunities to build a life and a career. A key focus of our reforms, Mr Speaker, is to provide early and effective intervention to those people who are at the highest risk of long-term welfare, those who are essentially on a collision course with a benefit, in particular those aged 16 and 17, who with no education, training and employment, and teen parents, tragically, are in a position where by the time they are 18, 90% of them will move on to an adult benefit. And I say, Mr Speaker, we can and should do better for these people. These young people are no different to so many others in New Zealand. They have hopes and dreams. And when we ask what those dreams are, Mr Speaker, we know that they will always struggle to achieve those while dependent on a welfare check. We owe it to them, Mr Speaker, and to New Zealand to do better, and that's exactly what this government proposes to do. One of the fundamental failures in the lives of so many of those young people is the lack of parental guidance. And importantly, personal responsibility seems to play a very minor part in the lives of these vulnerable young people. So many of these young people lack even basic life skills, Mr Speaker, and a sense of personal responsibility, not to mention the education and training, all of which significantly diminishes the opportunities for these young people. These reforms, Mr Speaker, are aimed to provide wraparound mentoring, support, education and training to fill the gap that so many of these young people's parents didn't. Mr Speaker, it also provides good quality childcare to provide young teen parents with an opportunity to go out and strive for that life. These reforms, Mr Speaker, will help young people to take control of their lives and their destiny again. And essential in achieving this is the youth support providers helping young people to manage their budgets, helping young people to pay essential bills such as power and rent, and will give them an allowance and a payment card to meet their living costs. And I want to say, Mr Speaker, that this is a vital circuit breaker on two levels. Firstly, because it helps give young people control over their lives again. And secondly, because it ensures that the support that the state is providing is going towards helping them get into work and not simply perpetuate dependence. This is a tremendous investment, Mr Speaker, in the lives of some 1,400 young people currently not in education, employment or training, 3,000 of whom are currently on benefits. Mr Speaker, these reforms are about investing in these young people about believing in them and their potential, rather than writing them a welfare cheque and hoping for the best.
I call the honourable member to Iraroa Flavell. Tēnā